The detection of two powerful bombs concealed in air cargo destined for the United States has sparked a frantic scramble on 3 continents for any other explosive devices that may still be en route from the Gulf state of Yemen. US officials say the 2 bombs were so sophisticated they bear all the hallmarks of Yemen's top al-Qaeda bomb maker. It's the 3rd known attempt by al-Qaeda to launch an attack on Western interests from Yemen over the past year. It also confirms Yemen's re-emergence as the global headquarters for al-Qaeda. Deborah Cornwall reports.
I believe the threat is certainly ongoing, and we're not going to rest until we find the people responsible for this and to find whatever other devices might be out there.
The weekend discovery of 2 bombs concealed inside printer cartridges is the kind of scenario anti-terrorist experts have been steeling themselves for months.
The plan at this stage appears that those bombs were to go off mid-flight and bring down the aircraft.
The first package was almost missed by British authorities after it had flown on 2 passenger planes through Germany. Around the same time, a second device was discovered on a freight plane in Dubai en route to the United States. Both devices, say the experts, bearing all the hallmarks of Yemen's top al-Qaeda bomb maker, Ibrahim Hassan Asiri.
The individual who has been making these bombs is a very dangerous individual, clearly somebody who has a fair amount of training and experience, and we need to find him. We need to bring him to justice as soon as we can.
According to anti-terrorist chiefs, al-Asiri's involvement in these latest attacks simply confirms Yemen's re-emergence as the new operations central of al-Qaeda. In the past year alone, al-Asiri has been linked to 2 other thwarted attacks: the attempted assassination of Saudi Arabian Prince Mohammed bin Naif and a suicide bomber who had concealed explosives in his underpants on a flight from Amsterdam to Detroit last Christmas.
Al-Qaeda seems to have returned to the Arabian Peninsula. It is growing stronger daily. Hundreds of plots are being hatched out of there.
The West's intelligence networks appear to have averted this latest threat, but al-Qaeda's resurgence in Yemen poses a new and unprecedented challenge for anti-terrorist forces.
The focus of the last few years, of course, after 9/11 has been on passenger aircraft, and so these groups are looking for the weakest link in the entire aviation security chain and appear to have found it in the cargo sector at this stage. That's not going to kill a lot of people, but it is going to provide that spectacular event of an aircraft blowing up mid-flight that they are looking for.
The Australian Strategic Policy Institute says there's also evidence of novel and more sophisticated devices, including explosives that can be sewn inside the body. These devices can only be detected with the use of body scanners, a security measure which is still being resisted in most countries, including Australia.
Clearly these groups have shown a degree of innovation in the types of bombs that they're making and how they're using them. Things like prosthetic limbs, women masquerading as being pregnant but in fact carrying a bomb inside a cavity in their bellies. Even the idea that breast implants or buttock implants could be used to hide a bombing device.
A growing nervousness over increased terrorist activity prompted a recent high-threat alert in Europe, including warnings crowded tourist areas had been targeted for indiscriminate attacks by terrorists. Then, just 2 days ago, the chief of Britain's Secret Service, Sir John Sawyer, broke with tradition, reminding the country that it remained under the very real risk of terrorist attack, in particular from al-Qaeda forces in Yemen.
You and millions of people like you go about your business in our cities and towns free of fear because the British government works tirelessly out of the public eye to stop terrorists and would-be terrorists in their tracks.
Within hours of the explosives being discovered, protests erupted on the streets of Yemen's capital, Sana'a, over the arrests of a mother and daughter. Initially linked to the plot, they were released within hours after it was found they'd been victims of an identity fraud by the plotters. Middle East analysts say anti-terrorist agencies face a complex challenge trying to rein in al-Qaeda's resurgence in Yemen. Osama bin Laden's ancestral home, it was from Yemen al-Qaeda first launched its attacks against the West, starting with the 1998 bombing of the US Embassy in Nairobi, which killed more than 200 people. 2 years later, they launched a direct attack on the USS Cole.
One of the most dangerous things that the West can do in response to incidents like this latest round of aircraft, the parcel bombing, is to send in a military intervention. We should be providing hope for the future rather than an iron hand on the Yemeni people.
With a mainly Muslim population of 23 million, the once prosperous spice trading nation is now the poorest of the Arab states.
In Yemen, we're facing a country heading towards collapse, hunger, internal insurrection and difficulty, a lack of state control, and all of these factors help sponsor and help support radicalism and allow the harbouring of individuals and organisations who seek to attack the West.
That report from Deborah Cornwall.